sorry about that. I'm trying to go to some other resources. However, it just happened to blank out. So like I said, I just have to figure all this out. I have to do a whole bunch of test videos. So I'm just gonna wait until everyone finds the new stream. And I'm sorry that I lost everyone. I apologize. So yeah, let's get this figured out. Sorry, y'all, that this stream, when I was trying to be all high tech and all this stuff, I guess that I'm like at the age where I need the grandchildren to come and help me. So I'm so sorry. Diamond Heart, how are you doing? I greatly apologize about that. I'll take full responsibility for getting the stream disconnected. Okay, I'm so sorry. I really apologize. And Alicia, how are you? Sorry about the interruption. I just want to say to everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging in there. So I kind of forgot where I was, but I know I was talking about these different characteristics or these different red flags that single mothers may ignore and put their children in danger, like this couple that I talked about that is in that was that well still they are in lockup in Missouri after the boyfriend assaulted all three children, but ultimately allegedly uh murdered one of them. And this was a brutal beating to the point where he even bit off the nipple of the child. And this is a sick human being to do something like that, but the mother knew that this was going on and also participated in the abuse of her children. So, you know, I want to take you real quick to a book that I've read this a number of times, but I kind of went through this book again when I read this article. I think it was yesterday I shared it. But of course, the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. And I know that you guys are familiar with the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. However, we have the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man by, of course, Queen Mother Shahrazad Ali. And I had to revisit a portion that, was kind of like a red flag. And I think one thing that I was confused about, when I was single and things like that, it was like, all men are good men, all Black men are good men, but there's a difference. And I had to learn this. There are Black men and there are Black males. Okay. And so you can ignore the red flags that you want and inappropriately label Black males as Black men. That's where you're going to get into all the trouble. And here on page 124, with this Black male that assaulted these children and ultimately allegedly murdered the baby, the 8-month-old. He has a criminal record of drug distribution, and the other one, no, drug possession and robbery. Robbery is a violent crime. Okay, there's no nice way to rob somebody. It's a violent crime. And for this woman or this female to allow this male in her home around her children and commit these acts on these children, it just shows how just stupid, ignorant, and criminal and just low of a person she is to allow someone to come into her home. Not only it's one thing if you happen to be subjected to some kind of violence, but I'm just making an assumption, allowed to happen to you, but then also allowed to trickle down to your children. You are a piece of shit. And YouTube can demonetize this video. I really don't care. But on page 124, Sister Ali says that this is not to suggest that all Black men in prison do not need to be there. Many Black men, and I'm going to say many Black males, require being locked up. Not always so much for their crime, but because of their warped mental conditions, which propel them to act out their rage, violence against innocent people. They get busted for homicide, robbery, assault, burglary, larceny, car theft, fraud, rape, sex offenses, bootlegging, etc. This is not appropriate behavior for a civilized person to engage in, and there must be some kind of method of doing something to them to protect everyone else. But as the saying goes, everybody in jail ain't guilty, and everybody free ain't innocent. And I'm going to jump over to the next page, page 125. And she states that the drugs black males consume today speed them up. Drug acceleration of an already fragile personality creates irritability, bad temper, sulking, verbal attacks, assault, or murder. Drugs make a person live in a world of fantasy with distorted thoughts and patterns. Anything can happen. Black males who steal or rob are jealous, envious, greedy, and lazy, no matter what financial need they use as a motive. They are parasitically trying to feed on the success of others. So it goes on and on. A black male who is a thief is the lowest caliber of man there is. I kind of just wish I had this book like about 15 years ago or so. I won't say 15 years ago, probably about decade ago. A decade ago. But I'm fortunate enough that, I did go straight from the military into law enforcement because I kind of learned this stuff on the job. And I know that people give police officers, especially black police officers, a bad rap. But when it comes to using what you learn to help the community and help protect the community, and when you show up and you're there to render aid, facilitate and speak up and testify and bring justice to the terrible situations that happen within our communities, because we live that, we've been there, we know of these things, but also turn around and use that to keep one person. If it's just one person, you saved a life. So with this criminal record, fortunately, I've never went to jail. I went to juvenile, but I never went to grown-ups jail or prison. I just went there to drop people off and handle administrative things. But when you watch shows like, Locked Up and things like that, I'm not saying everybody who goes to jail is a disturbed individual or a threat or a danger, but the exception is not the rule. One red flag that single mothers have to look up to when getting with a boyfriend or somebody, the jailbird ain't it. And I know that a lot of women who are females who are lonely, and they have this house full of children, they want this picture perfect man, woman, child, children, this fairy tale life. You ain't gonna get it with a dude that's coming out of jail or prison. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen. Terrible things happen in jail. The stories that I've heard that happen in prison, the horrible things, the rape, the murder, the constantly being on guard. Like I said, I've never been to prison or jail, but I can relate that to some of the attitudes of certain individuals who've like been overseas, who've been on deployments, things like that. And I'm not saying everybody, I'm not painting this picture, but I'm just saying there are certain individuals that I'm surprised, like, wow, you have a wife and a family, or you have a husband and children. You kind of surprised because when they come out, they need like severe reintegration. They need strict detox. I mean, that's a community that you don't want to bring them around your children. And nobody is going to tell you this flat out. So that's one side. This dude here, convicted felon, then come out and do these things. Like, who does this to children? It makes absolutely no sense. Some males who have mother issues. There were some guys I dated, and they really had this jealous thing. Like, I sensed it early on. Like, I'll let them like, hey, yes, I do have a son. And once time went on and we finally got that meeting or whatever, I think, well, not really, I think my observation was, because I'm not looking for a father for my child. He has a father. I don't have any ill will. I don't need you to go fight him. It's perfectly fine. That kind of brought on a jealousy, kind of, sort of. It's like, no, they want this position and want to, be this man of my child. I'm like, no, this is not how it's gonna work. So those relationships did not work out. And yeah, they have this jealousy thing, and those are the red flags that will, let you know there's possibly some kind of harm in the future for you and your child, or your child. You know, that's just something you have to pay attention to. If he has issues with his mother or sisters, or he has a grandmother that he treats bad, you may not want to have this person around someone who can't fight back, i.e. your child. And someone who just flat out says, I don't like children. What the hell are you doing progressing with them and bringing them in your house and leaving them with your children and getting in bed with them? What the hell is your problem? Okay? What in the hell is your problem? And this is something that I learned. I never heard this before coming up in Ohio, but different guys that I knew from different parts of the South, and I'm not shitting on anybody from the South. I love my Southern gentlemen. I love the hell out of y'all. But with certain guys, the common denominator, they happen to be around the Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana area. And this thing about when you have a son, and I talk more about having a son because that's what I have. I don't have a daughter, but I have my son, and the things that I noticed. It's this big thing about chastising boys. Let me know if you've heard that before. I'm not quite clear on exactly 100% what that means, but it's something about treating the boy kind of harshly to make a man out of him. Let me know if you heard that before. Let me go to the comments and see if anybody else has heard this term, chastising boys. Um, Red alert. Yeah, we live. How you doing? I don't get exactly. I get exactly what you're saying. I don't trust. Anyhow, Kareem, how you doing? It's in the first hand exactly. Um, you look like a. um, I lost my hair and it has not grown back. Yeah, I'll do a video on some hair growth. Um, yeah, this whole thing with chastising boys. So when I hear this thing about chastising boys, it's from males who necessarily didn't have their father. It's the mothers and grandmothers who says, you need to chastise that boy, chastise that boy. So the male is regurgitating what the mother and the grandmother says. And I'm like, so I think it's a term put on, act out physical discipline and just over the top aggression on these boys to turn them into men, to not make them be soft. That's what I'm thinking. You said I heard of it, but I had to check my boy's father for being too harsh on them. He wasn't mistreating them, but he was doing too much. Exactly. And it's like, no, there's a way to be a leader without, dehumanizing your son. Women or female mothers or mothers do the same thing to their girl children. They would either not treat them with that same nurturing that they give to their boys. They're really hard on them. They call them fast. They say you smelling yourself, or you trying to show off in front of my man and things like that. So oftentimes when the daughter would come and say, hey, he's looking at me weird, or he touched me, or he did this, the mother is gonna, just go crazy on that daughter to the point of maybe even, taking her life over some male that she got in there, some warm body that's a predator that's been victimizing this child the whole time. I mentioned this earlier, competing to be the man in your life. Now, when this comes into play, I'll talk about this thing called unconditional love. I don't give everybody unconditional love. Unconditional love, according to the world of Tieesha, not everyone is deserving of unconditional love. I only offer unconditional love to children, but in first and second, my son and my niece. Those are the two children that were closest to me my entire life, my niece and my son. Those are only two who have unconditional love. I will love them no matter what. But as far as adults and other people, it's conditional. It's conditioned. You will be lying to yourself if you say, I love you unconditionally. You wouldn't subscribe to me unconditionally if I came up here and started doing some real sideways stuff. It's like, Tieesha, I support you no more. I don't want to know you no more. Charge you to the game. But when you go and sign any kind of agreement or get into any kind of agreement as an adult with anybody or any business, you have terms and conditions. You have terms and conditions. And you should, because you should have standards. If you're a person that just let anything ride, you're going to be one of the people I talk about on here, or there's going to be an article about you. You got to have conditions. You got to have standards. You got to say, I'm not going for this. Okay. This is it. But with your children, you know, of course, you should not just let your children be willy-nilly going crazy. You need to have some terms and conditions for your damn self and instill some values, morals, principles, and guidelines and discipline in your children. So then, if they happen to make an honest mistake, make a mistake, or you happen to not cover something, they happen to fall for a second, you can give them that unconditional love and get them right back on track. But to anybody else that's not your child, I really feel as though there should be nothing unconditional about it. It should be conditions. Somebody violates you or does something to your children, does something evil, illegal, immoral, there should be terms and conditions. You cut that off. Um some males that I've noticed, and when I've worked domestics, I've did the preliminary reports on child abuse, things like that. Some males don't like being around other men's children. They really don't. There's some kind of jealousy in there. There's some kind of resentment. And with a lot of abuse cases, I noticed that was what was going on. Either this male don't like the father of the child, or he doesn't like that the father of the child got to the female first or whatever, so they take it out on the child. Of course, there's a lot of other factors in there, as far as drug use, um crime, a whole bunch of different factors in there, but it boils down to some males just don't like other men's children, and you have to accept that as a mother of children. Whoever you're dating, whatever, you have to look for these signs that he don't like your children. Ultimately, it will possibly lead to him harming your children. So you have to put your foot down. You have to be vigilant. You have to protect your children from that. Another thing is, you can't move every man in. You should move a male in your house, period. The bedrooms in your home should be for you and your children. The only person who should have keys to your home, if you're a single pair, a single mother, a mother of children, and it's just you, no one else should have keys to that front door but you and your children. When that door gets locked for the night, it really should only be you and your children in there. To be totally honest, yeah, there are times where you want that companionship. You may think that this is leading to marriage, something like that, but you shouldn't move anybody in there at all. You should not, because one, if you have a man, a honorable stand-up man, he's not going to move into your house, because there's already a system in place that's been existing. No matter how good it is or how corrupt it is, that's a system, that is a ecosystem that's evolving without him. So him trying to find his place in your ecosystem is going to lead to a cataclysmic clusterfuck. So he's not gonna put himself and inject himself in your house, because you're gonna always be like, I can kick you out. This is my house. Blah blah blah. Ain't no man gonna deal with that. Ain't no man gonna deal with no, and I don't want to say female, but no woman putting him out. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have it to where this is my house, and if things are not going according to my law and my rule that I set up in here, you can go. But only a male would pack up his garbage bag and his PlayStation and move into your house with your kids. That's a red flag right there, that you may have somebody that's going to potentially hurt you and your children. So you need to watch out for that. Don't be moving no males into your fucking house with your children. Um, just a person that you may even notice that they have disdain for their own children, no compassion or that tenderness for their children. From example, my son, if he gets sick or he's having a bad day as a mother, I'm like, okay, I wish I could just absorb the sickness, or I wish I could shield you from this bad day. His father, the same way. But for someone to just be so unattached to children in general, their own children, that's someone you do not need to have around your children at all. At all. Um, there was another case that I had read about a mother, a single mother. She left her child with her boyfriend because she had to go to work, and the boyfriend ended up killing the child. Your boyfriend is not your babysitter, not your boyfriend, your man friend, your cut buddy, your bae should not be left unsupervised with your children whatsoever. I don't even give a damn if he is, how they say, in the church or whatever. Should not be left alone with your children. I don't care what romantic movie you saw on TV about this man that comes in and loves everybody's children and whatever. That's a movie. That's a fairy tale. Okay. We have real criminal shit happening out here, and you got to protect your children. And I'm getting on women, but brothers, I tell you this too. If you have sole custody of your child, don't just be off the bat. I know it may be tough. You're like, look, yeah, I need, a woman to come in here and be a mother figure. Okay, that should not go for everybody that you're going to bed with. Okay. Um, Never allow your boyfriend to physically discipline your children. Like I said, I know that there are single mothers out there who have sons, and they put them in football and think the coach gonna get them right, and stuff like that. But so they get this, they bring this boyfriend in and allow him to play daddy, and he ends up taking it too far and hurting, even taking the life of that child. No one. And I know with our community, I talked about this on another video about toxic mothers, and how it's part of slavery, us beating each other, beating our children. And it takes therapy to flip that. There are other ways to be a parent. And I know that we are quick to say, well, you see that little badass white kid in the store, and they go in there and kill their parents, we need to beat our children. No. That is an excuse because we're lazy and we don't want to learn any other way to discipline our children. But also too, it gives us an excuse to put our shortcomings as parents and blame the response that our children give us and put the blame on them, if that makes sense. No, there are other ways. And if your child is acting up in a certain way, take a look at yourself. If your child is walking around cussing you out and slapping you, what are you doing? Why does this child feel so empowered to come and cuss you out and hit you and tear your stuff up and set your house on fire, or be a terror out in the community? What is going on with you? Because they're reflecting behavior of somebody that they see. And if it's not you, it's somebody that you're allowing to be around them. But never let anyone physically discipline your children. I talk about never moving someone in with your children. And I also talk about protecting your sons and daughters from sexual predators. So that's my thing. And one thing that is just really, I don't know, really, there is a lot of single mothers are forcing one night stands to play father figures. There should be more discipline in your life on who you go to bed with. You should not give the same person you go to bed with the same or more privilege to take over your children in your household, okay? You need to have more discipline on yourself. You need to shut it down, okay? If you have small children and you're feeling overwhelmed or you need companionship, what you do is you get all your children, y'all pop some popcorn, and y'all sit in the bed and watch movies. That's all the companionship you need. But ultimately, what I'm seeing right now is it kind of sucks, because I'm seeing a lot of young sisters, they have somebody, that they're dating, and they happen to get pregnant. Then they're not together anymore. I'm like, oh, because you can just kind of imagine what they're opening themselves up to. Yeah, they got this cute little baby. They're having baby showers by themselves, gender reveals by themselves. And you're like, damn, you know, you hope that they are protected. You hope that, that they can kind of wise up and mature real quick. But you can kind of feel like, damn. So what I really ask, what I really request is those of us who have this knowledge, who, are mature, we've been through some stuff, we see a way to prevent children from being, abused and mistreated, we got to step in. We got to step in. We can't fix the problems in our community overnight. So if you know of this little niece, this cousin, this, next door neighbor's child, whatever, and they are vulnerable, we have to step up. We have to step in, because we know that, postpartum blues, depression happens, daily stress. We don't have it made. So yeah, we have children, we still have to go to work. you know Parents, step in, step up. If they're dropping off their babies at strange people's house, if you know that strange people coming in and out their house, I don't deny for one moment that those three children in Missouri, people around them knew that those children were being mistreated. You can look in the faces of the boyfriend and the mother and see that something ain't right. I'm pretty sure the house was a fucking mess. And I know that people notice, but they just continue. In our community, we I won't say we always, but we tend to pray about stuff. Oh, it'll get better. Um, I'll pray for you. That's our first thing we do. I'll pray for you versus stepping in there and taking action. We are so scared to intervene. But then when something like this happens, and either CPS or the police come in, or we come in to investigate something, we're the enemy. But I'm like, this house didn't get like this overnight. These bruises on this child didn't just happen a minute ago. This has been going on. And you want to, post on Facebook, RIP, and sell fish dinners and wear a t-shirt. Where were you at to intervene and stop this? We complain about our children going to foster care and being mistreated. Why not step in and open up your home? If you see these things happen, you open up that home. You open up your home. Be generous. You know, don't let these children just exist and go through this. And you so-called can sleep in your bed, sound at night, and then tomorrow you in church talking about how you so blessed, but you know about these children over here who are being mistreated. How much sense does that make? You are a shitty person if you know about abuse, neglect, a parent who don't know any better, or is probably ignorant to, or lacking good sense, and you can step in and intervene. So I'm gonna take a moment from my rant and read some comments. You said, I am unsure to let my son around my boyfriend and his family for Christmas. Have you noticed any red flags? Like, have you felt anything, or saw anything? Does he have a criminal record or abuse? I mean, if your son is not blood related to them, you need to be there with him, okay? You shouldn't just send him off to spend the night or go by himself on vacation. You should be there. And he said, no, just PTSD. I'm a veteran, and I also have, 6+ years of law enforcement. I've seen some stuff. I've had that PTSD, when I work certain child abuse cases, sexual assault cases, just anything, the children, or the calls I went to, and I had to, stay there until the coroner came, and put this child in a body bag to go to the medical examiner's office. I went home, and I was just that much more protective over my son. I was actually working day shift when the Sandy Hook incident happened. I was at work when it happened, and I wanted to go to my son's school immediately. So what happened when I got off, I went to his school because he was in the before and after school program. We stayed at the after school program until every child went home, because I parked my police car out front, and I was in uniform, and I just sat there watching the door while my son, he played, because they did not know what had happened, and I'm just there, so I have that PTSD as well. But you can't be too careful. So I mean, I'm not saying to just be paranoid and stay up all night pacing and thinking the worst, but just have a plan. Have a plan. Watch your child, talk to your child, educate them, let them know that it's okay, you're perfectly safe. If you don't feel comfortable being over here, or if this person does this to you, or if anybody touches you there. I taught my son about stranger danger, and he used stranger danger on me. We were at Burlington, and he's running around. I'm not gonna put you in this car, you keep running. So he kept running and hiding in the clothes. I went to go pick his butt up and put him in the car. He started yelling stranger danger. So thank goodness that he looked just like me, and I'm like, no, he's mine. Okay. But yeah, just be careful. Okay. Like, you can apologize for, being protective, but you can't apologize for letting a violation happen to your child, no matter how many times you say it. um I'll be sure I let my son out of my sight. There you go. Just watch them, stay close. And then if it's shady people, question them, ask questions. Who is this? Who are you? Talk to people. Because I'm like this. I'll be sort of like, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? I'm Tieesha. How you doing? Where you from? Just ask them a whole bunch of questions. So that's what I do. Stranger danger. Um, we mind our business too much, and that's how kids get killed. Yes, we have to. We One thing that I'm really seeing the importance of is a village mentality. That's just not her kids over there. That's her business. These are our children. That's our sister. That's our brother. That may not be my mom, but that's a mother. So we have to look out for everybody. Um, these topics aren't talked about enough. Exactly. I was looking for them, but yeah, I highly recommend, sisters, pick up the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. Okay, like I said, I wish I knew this sooner, but unfortunately, we have terrible examples of what relationships are around us. We don't know what to look for. We like, oh well, he makes me feel good, and he got tattoos, or he drives this. There's nothing really of substance that we're taught to look for. So unfortunately, we have to get our hearts broken, and we have to learn things the hard way. But you learn, and this information is out there. Shout out to Sister Shahrazad Ali. I love her so much. Um, after my father died, my mom didn't date because she don't want to deal with someone fucking with us. Exactly. Like, I think we talked about this before. Your mom. Oh my gosh. Like, I haven't met her, but when I do, I want to get her autograph, because we need more women like her. There's another sister I know. Her husband had died in a car accident, and so she was very selective on who she brought around her daughter, because she's like, look, I have to protect my daughter. My husband isn't here. And that's one thing. If you have to hang it up for a good while, I got married when my son was he 9? He was 9. But the good thing about it was that when I had got married, I stopped working. So I was home with him every day, and I was in control. Like, I was able to watch him, talk to him, all that. But at the same time, as you guys know, I talked about the domestic violence I went through. And I'm like, look, if this is a place that I don't want to be at, I don't want my child here at all. So that's when I was like, look, I got to get the hell up out of here. I don't want any children here. So you have to, if you get a feeling, your children have a feeling, because they feed off of you. Your children are so precious. Okay. Brothers, your children started inside of you. Okay. And then you happen to, put them over here in the oven. But mothers, your children are the only people in this world that have been so close to your heart for so long. There is an absolute bond there that nobody else can explain. Tieesha, you're speaking absolute truth with everything you said so far. I appreciate this. And I'm sorry about the cuss words. I try not to say them, but whenever I get passionate about something, I just go with it. I may not speak the King's English perfectly, okay? um, that's way too common. I have to check my boy's father, yeah, for being too harsh. It's okay to be nice to them. What is it? I'm trying to think. Speaking and I know that someone else will probably have the argument, well, you're talking about boyfriends. What about the biological fathers who are, hard and murdering children, stuff like that? That's the stuff that you have to recognize. You have to look at that, and you have to step in. Mothers, fathers, you are the protectors of your children. If the mother is acting out, then you need to intervene. Vice versa. Okay, there are biological mothers, who harm their children. We just talked about evil people in general, talked about baby blues, postpartum depression, drug abuse, stuff like that. These are all things that you have to pay attention to, and you have to protect your children from them. You said I enjoyed it. Cousin is cool with me. I got a DD-214 from the Navy and these cuss words. Um, Men and women need to start dating outside the home. Every man isn't a potential stepdad. Exactly. Exactly. As I was saying, before or during the time when I was dating someone, and they'll know, I'm like, I don't need you to be a father to my son. You can be a influential male figure or man, but I don't need you to replace his father. He has one. And I'm not looking for that at all. You can be, in addition, a bonus, like a bonus dad and bonus mom. As y'all notice, I don't say stepmom, stepdad. I say bonus mom, bonus dad, because you're a bonus. You don't have to be with me knowing that I have a child. You don't have to do anything for him. Whatever you do for him and being in my life, you are a bonus. And you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. And I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and I honor you for that. You know, um, Rest in power to, a man who is kind of like a stepfather to me. He passed away a couple of months ago, but his birthday is also in December. He had children of his own, but he still helped us out with, school clothes, money, groceries, paid bills, just being an all-around fun person. He did not have to do any of that. And I remember seeing him right before I joined the Navy. When I was graduating, well, I didn't graduate high school. I got my letter of completion and I left before graduation. But before I left to go to boot camp, I saw him. And I just told him thank you. I'm like, these are the things that I'm doing. I'm getting ready to go into the Navy. I wasn't able to express how I felt like I'm doing now. But the last time I saw him, I did say thank you. Because he was a bonus. He didn't have to do a damn thing for me. His name is not on my birth certificate, you know, but he did those things. So he was a bonus. I'm trying to think if there's any other books. Brothers, y'all know about the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. There's some females you got to be aware of too. I don't think I've done a review on these two books. I know I reviewed Sister Ali's book, Are You Still a Slave? I was upset on that video. I was going clean out. When I watch it today, I'm like, dang, Tieesha, you could barely get a sentence out without, stammering over a cuss word. But I was mad in that video. I was angry. And she has another book, How Not to Eat the Pig. So I'll go over that book as well. I won't even feel right by disciplining somebody else's child. Beware of guys trying to play daddy too soon. Yeah, that's the whole chastising and competing to be the alpha male and stuff like that. And with our community, yeah, we tend to. I mean, I've had guys tell me whose children was around me, like, yeah, if she gets out of hand or he gets out of hand, just tear his butt up. And I'm like, ugh. I mean, going through the counseling that I've been through to repair some things, that I've been miseducated on and things that I've had to grow up. When I look at other sides and get a different approach to life in certain situations, it really, I'll say, a deprogramming is wise. If you grew up in a shitty environment, a shitty household, or has some bad habits, or seen people do some terrible things, even, the PTSD that you talked about, even things that I saw in the military, things I saw as a police officer, just things in life. You hold all that stuff in, but when you get all that stuff out and talk to somebody, and then you not associate with, like, low hanging fruit anymore, and you step up and you start, learning different ways of life, better ways to do things, it's so refreshing. It really is. And it helps you grow as a person. And I would say I've become a lot calmer. I really have. Like, I have such peace, and I'm so guarded with my peace. And I know that my true happy is with my son, with my family. I won't let anybody come in and fuck that up. I won't. So really protect your household, protect your children, put them first. Put yourself first, put your children first, because if you don't put yourself first, you're not any good for them. But think about it before, and I don't know if I said this, everybody that you lay down with, you're not supposed to procreate with. If that doesn't sound too harsh, but I notice a lot of anger that certain people have to their children is because they hate the person that they lay down with. And it's like, then why did you lay down with them anyway? Why did you do that? And that's where a lot of their ill feelings, their rage come from, because they're so angry at the person that they laid with that they take it out on the children. No, cut that out. Not everybody that you meet you're supposed to lay down with. Okay. So that's about all I have. Just to wrap up, we talked about, not leaving your children with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or even if you mess around and marry them. You may not want to leave your children with them. You need to pay attention to those red flags. Get around some people who have wisdom, those who are protected, who have functional relationships. Who are not just dysfunctional ass backwards. Okay. So you may have to change your circle. We also have to get involved with the children in our community. We have to take on, a village mentality, a village attitude and approach. And we have to screen people heavily. We have to screen people heavily, but also too, therapy and counseling is needed. Okay. I totally advocate for it. I really do. Because there's some shit that you went through, some things that you may think are productive, but you're actually causing terrible pain and sending fucked up people into the world to be fucked up individuals and fuck up other people's lives, and it's all your fucking fault. So I'm not saying you, okay, no, it's not you, but I'm just saying the person that watches this video may take that and make a change, because I'm not perfect. I'm still growing and changing. I just hope to, like, at this point in life, I'm kind of like the big sister auntie. So as I'm learning, I just want to be that example and share with, everybody else. So give this video a thumbs up. Check out my website, Tieesha.Essex.com. You can hit me up on Instagram, Facebook. I try to answer every single inbox that I get, even those who slide in a DM. I still answer you too. You can connect with me on Facebook. Check out my website. Get your personal defense gear. Whatever you purchase, I have a gift code, gift 35, and that's good until the end of the month. 35. I made it 35 because I just turned 35. Okay, but I'm still lying about my age. But save 35% off every order with the code gift 35. Okay. So leave your comments. I thank you for watching. I know this is kind of like a tough thing to talk about, but we got to get it out there. So thank you for listening to me. I'm going to try to figure out this whole StreamYard, OBS thing. So if y'all can send me something to help a sister out, because I just figured out, the Fire Stick, and like I said, I need some grandchildren or somebody's grandchildren come over here and help me figure out this stuff. Okay, Auntie needs some help. But I love y'all so much. Be safe. Hug your children for me. And I will see you on the next video. I think I may do a pre-recorded video, my next couple ones. But I will be back. I know that Kwanzaa is coming up this week. So, yeah, I would do some updated Kwanzaa videos. And I think my next video that I have set to do live is I think the title is gonna be like, where is your home training? Where are your manners? Because I'm observing some stuff around me that's getting on my nerves as far as manners and home training and decency. So that'll be another rant video with plenty of cuss words in it. So yeah, join me on other social media platforms. Send me a request, send me a message. I'll follow you back, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.